Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Allahumma faqihna fid din. Allahumma inni as'aluka ilman nafi'a wa amalan mutaqabbala wa rizqan tayyiba. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So, Alhamdulillah, we did up till ayah number 16 last time, this ayah. And just I'm just going to read the translation and then continue from the next ayah. Those are the ones who have purchased error in exchange for guidance, so their transaction has brought no profit, not were they guided. So even before this ayah, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us examples of how people they used to pretend in front of Muslims that they are Muslims, and then they pretend to do things in front of people differently, and when they are alone they do things differently. And as I mentioned last time, in the life of the Prophet in Medina, there was a group of people who were called, like we label them and the historians label them, as hypocrites, meaning they pretended to be Muslims, but when they were alone with their own people, they will say, no, we are just kidding, we're just joking, we're just making a fool out of them, and we are not Muslims. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they just did a transaction, they did a trade of giving away guidance in place of misguidance. And this transaction that they made, it's not going to benefit them in any way. Whenever we make a transaction, whenever we buy something, we give money, and we buy something that is of benefit to us, or something that we want, or something that we need. There's some benefit to it. But what these people do, that they think that they are going to be successful, what they are doing is they are buying misguidance in place of guidance. Basically, what does this mean? Guidance is only one. The Quran is the only guidance. Yeah, how we get to that guidance, how we get it, there can be different ways, but there's only one guidance. There's no, and that's why you will always see in the Quran that a singular, grammatically singular word is used for guidance, whereas misguidance can be many. So people sometimes, when they, let's say, for example, friends, the company that they keep, if the company is people who don't care much about the deen, about the religion, over time, and they started spending more time with them, they will become like those people. So this is one way of just giving away the guidance, because guidance, we are born Muslims. Everyone is a born Muslim. Over time, when they start going away from their deen, some people or kids that are raised in a Catholic household, they will be raised as Christians, or then Jews, or Hindus and Buddhists, whoever. But everyone is born a Muslim. So now, in the next few ayahs, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give us some examples. Like He, just to make it clear to us what it means. So, mathaluhum, their example, kamathali, is like the example, alladhi, of those who, istawqada, is the one who, stawqada, kindled, naran, a fire, falamma, then when, adaat, it illuminated, ma hawlahu, whatever was around him, ذهب الله, took away Allah, binurihim, their light, وتركهم, and left them, fi, in dhulumatin, in darknesses, la yubsirun, so not they see. Now, the Quran that is sent, it is guidance, it is like a light. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving an example, like the example of these people. So now the same people who we can say hypocrites, or who were disbelievers, they used to actually make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send a prophet, so we can partner with that prophet, and we fight the disbelievers, we fight the polytheists, we do this and that. And when that last prophet came, just because that prophet did not come from their side of or you can call the lineage, that's why they didn't accept him. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, their example is like somebody who kindled a fire, and when everything became, let's say it was really, really dark, and then somebody found some candle or something, and they lit it up, and it made the surroundings bright, but at the exact moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took away their sight. Now, for a blind person, it does not matter whether the light is on or light is off, whether they are in a dark place or whether they are in a place which is really bright. It doesn't matter to them. So this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying example of those when that nur, when that guidance, when that Quran came, they just ignored it. They said we're not going to listen to it. We're not going to follow it. And so they became blind. And this blindness is not the actual blindness. Blindness means that things are clear in front of them, but they don't understand. They don't want to see. They don't want to apply, or they don't want to adopt. Fi dhulumatin la yubsirun. Dhulumat is darknesses, and they are not going to see. So how can we relate in our life? So when we surround ourselves with activities or with people that are, like, you can say, going in the opposite direction as of guidance, so we won't be able to get guidance because we are spending our time with those people. When it's time to salah, to pray, and they're keeping us busy with something, maybe initially we will say, no, I have to pray, and then second and third and fourth, after a while, because nobody's getting up to pray, maybe like it can have that effect on us too, and we will not get up and pray. Something really interesting we are watching, or we are the company that we have, like, it's really interesting, so we will just delay our salah, and then we might even forget it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is given this example. Maybe you can the imagery, you can have a whole picture in your mind that it's really dark, somebody lit a fire or a candle, it becomes bright, but that somebody is now, people around I can't even see because they became blind. That light is the Quran, and people are not able to see it. That's the kind of blindness they have. Summum, deaf, bukmun, dumb, umyun, blind. Fahum, so they la yarji'un, they will not return. So these people who don't see the guidance, or who don't believe in the Quran, or who are not listening to the Prophet, they are deaf, dumb, and blind. Like, although they have all these senses, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way is telling us, when people don't want the guidance, they don't follow the guidance, this is what they are. They are like, even though they can see, they're blind. Even though they can hear, they're deaf. Even though they can speak, they're dumb. Because nothing good comes out of them. And this is something, if you just think about it in our lives, if we don't have a focus, or if we don't have a purpose, life can be really overwhelming. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what you want to do. You're just taking things as they come. But our deen gives us a purpose. So the purpose is to please Allah. That's a general purpose. How we are going to achieve that purpose, everyone can get a different way of achieving it. Everyone can have a different weakness that they need to work on. But if we have a purpose, why am I doing it? Why am I not going to lie? Why am I not going to miss my salah? Why am I not going to be mean? Why am I not going to watch certain things or say certain things? There is a reason. Because when you have that reason, life becomes so much easier. Simple thing. If we make pleasing Allah our main purpose, life becomes easy. When our purpose is to please people, life is really, really difficult, because people will never be pleased. You make one friend happy, the other friend might get angry. Or you make your parents happy, your friends might be angry. So people will never be content with us. But if my purpose is, okay, whatever I'm doing, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with me, I'm good, because that is my purpose. Now, another example Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving, or kasayyibin, like a rainstorm, minas samai, from the sky, fihi, in it, dhulumatun, are darknesses, wa ra'adun, and thunder, wa barqun, and lightning, yaj'aluna, they put asabi'ahum, their fingers, fi adhanihim, in their ears, min, from as-sawa'iqi, the thunderclaps, hadar al-maut, fear of death, wallahu, and Allah, muhitun, he is the one who encompasses bil kafirin, the disbelievers. So the other example, let's say it's raining really hard, it's like a thunderstorm, there's lightning, there's thunder. And some people, they're really, really scared of the thunder claps, the thunder noises. And the moment the lightning strikes or there's a thunder clap, they put their fingers in the ears so that they can't like hear, because they fear they might die. Some people are really, really scared of thunderstorms and heavy rains. So how this relates to the Quran, that when the Quran came, they wanted the Quran, they wanted guidance, but when the guidance came, they put their fingers in the ear, they don't want to listen to it. Why? Because it didn't come the way they wanted it to come. So just a quick recap. Ibrahim alayhi salam had two sons, Ismail alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the last prophet, came from the lineage of Ismail alayhi salam. All the Jews are from Ishaq alayhi salam. So they were waiting for a last prophet to come from their lineage. But because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from the other son, they said, okay, we're not going to believe in him. So this is what it means, that they, like, you're waiting for the rain, and then the rain comes, and then it's so strong that you get scared and you feel that I might die. And this is what happens to us. Sometimes the rulings or the hukum of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feels so hard. How am I going to do it? And then we just feel that, okay, if I follow that guidance and if I followed that rule, I'm just going to be left alone. Nobody's going to be my friend. I might as well just die. This is what happens to some people. I'll give you an example. So for example, even the simplest of things, let's say salah. For some people, praying 5 times is a really, really hard task. And when they are like reminded of it, and when they're told, okay, do your wudu and then pray, it is as if like somebody, like it's just very hard for them. For example, fasting, some people find it really hard. And there are people who say, no, fasting is not even obligatory. Like they find new ways to get out of it. So for us, like if we want to follow what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do, simple thing, I believe in Allah, I believe in the book. And this Quran is given to me so that I can be guided. The guidance is always going to be there. It is up to me whether I want to take that guidance or I don't want to take that guidance. Sometimes it becomes overwhelming. Why? Because we want to do everything at the same time. And then we have a certain lifestyle. We want to be with friends, or we want to enjoy the life that we are used to, but then certain things we are not supposed to do. And then we are torn in between. It becomes so hard, because then changing our lifestyle, like suddenly, it is really, really hard. And I'll be honest with you, it is not easy. It is like I have been I've been teaching, I've been studying Quran, and it's been a while. But even now, I sometimes find it so hard to do certain things. I try, but it is still hard. So everyone never think that for some people it's so easy. Following the deen is so easy. They're just easily doing. Everyone has their own battles. So what you can do by looking at somebody, okay, that if that person is able to do it, I will try and I will be able to do it too. That's what our attitude should be, because always remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to judge us based on our own capacity. He's not going to judge us based on somebody else's capacity. Okay, your friend did that much ibadah and fasting and donations. Why didn't you do it? No, it's not going to be like that. What is my capacity and how much? So I gave this example before as well. I'm going to give you again. Somebody has the capacity to, like, they have a lot of money and they donate $100, and there's somebody who donated $5. And people will say, oh, $100, wow, mashallah, and only $5. But the person who donated $5, he only had $10. And the person who donated $100, they had thousands of dollars. So it doesn't matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He won't compare each of us like with each other. He will compare me with me. So this was your capacity. Did you do the maximum you could do or no? That's all that we are basically, you can say, fighting our own selves. We need to be a better person every day. I need to be better than I was yesterday. Today should be better. Tomorrow should be better than today. That's all like what our like fight, or you can say the struggle is. Nothing else. Yakadu, another example. Yakadu, almost. Al-barku, the lightning. Yakhtafu, snatches away. Absarahum, their sight. Kullama, whenever. Ada'a, it flashes. Lahum, for them. Mashaw, they walk. Fihi, in it. Wa idha, and when. Azlama, it darkens. Alayhim, on them. Qamu, they stand still. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ, and if Allah had willed, لَذَهَبَ, He would suddenly have taken away بِسَمْعِهِمْ, their hearing, وَأَبْصَارِهِمْ, and their sight. إِنَّ اللَّهَ, indeed Allah, عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, upon everything, قَدِير, all powerful. The example, the same thing continues, that when, sometimes, let's say it's really dark and you don't know where you're going, and then suddenly there's lightning and everything just illuminates, and you start walking, and then it becomes dark again. And then when it's light, you start walking, but then when it's dark, you stop again. So basically, what it means in this sense, that whenever we find something of our deen which is easier to do, I do it. But when things are like whatever is asked of me through the Quran that I find hard, then I just say, okay, no, deen is not that strict. I don't like, it's not even in the Quran, or we find reasons. So that take it in two ways. So one way, yes, that happens. Some things we find hard to do and we fail in them, or we struggle in them. That is a fact. But never let shaitan come to you and say, okay, you're not able to do that, then might as well leave other things too. If you are not able to pray 5 times, why fast? Or if you're not able to do this, why do this? This is shaitan coming and saying these things. We can't listen to shaitan. Even if we are able to do just a little bit, let's say I am trying hard, but something comes up, or there's some reason and I forget to pray all my prayers. So that does not mean that the prayers that I do pray, that I just should just leave them. Some people say, no, you're not praying, your fast is not valid. That's not a fact. So something, you've heard something is better than nothing. It is a fact. Instead of, okay, no, I am going to start wearing my hijab, and once I start wearing hijab, I'm going to do this. So wearing a hijab, when you have not worn it like for so long, it is not easy. So what you can do, if you're finding wearing the hijab difficult, you can start by maybe wearing loose clothes, wearing full sleeves, wearing thick clothes, not see-through clothes, wearing like something, you can start somewhere. It is better than nothing. And if you're finding it hard to cover your hair, and I'm just because I'm talking about, I just mentioned hijab, I just wanted to clarify one thing. Whoever out of you, I know some of you might be wearing hijab already and some of you don't, and you're thinking about whatever, whenever you do start, always remember hijab. This word is not in the Quran for scarf or whatever. Like for khumar is the word for covering. So whenever you do start, always remember it is not only covering your hair. That's not what hijab is. That is not at all hijab, covering your hair. Yes, hair is part of our aura. Aura means the parts of our body that are required to be covered all the time in front of non-mahram. So hair is part of it. But when we talk about khimar, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to, how we are supposed to be dressed, is that our clothing needs to be loose. It can't be see-through. It must be covering all our body parts. And our chests are covered. Neck is also part of it. Sometimes I've seen people, they wear the hijab and their neck is showing, or they wear the hijab and they put it at the back and their neck and front and chest and everything is open. That is not what hijab is. Yeah, you're covering your hair, but this is not the khimar or the hijab that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to wear. It's better to start somewhere. All I'm saying, I've seen people wear hijab and wearing half sleeves or quarter sleeves. And the reason I know how I see it is that I think they don't even know why they are covering their head. Because if they had known, they would not do like they would not dress up like this. Because you're covering your hair, but you're showing your arms or your neck or your ears. Sometimes people, when they're going to parties and they are hijabis, they will put the hijab behind their ears so that they can wear some jewelry. The purpose of hijab is to not show our beauty in front of non-mahram, not show our clothing, like attractive clothing in front of non-mahram. It's only fun in front of non-mahram. In front of women, there's no problem. So coming back, so sometimes people will find certain things easier to do and certain things difficult to do, and that's a reality. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, and if Allah had willed, He could have taken their hearing or sight. Meaning, people who are listening, and remember, when the Quran is being recited, they know, they understand it because Arabic is their language. But they still don't believe in it. They still don't follow it. Ya ayyuhan nasu, O mankind, u'budu, worship Rabbakum, your Lord, alladhi, the one who khalaqakum, He created you, walladhina, and those min qablikum, before you, la'allakum, so that you may tattaqun, you become righteous. This is what it is. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in another place has said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا. I'm just paraphrasing it, that I've not created men and human beings and jinn other than worshipping me. So that's the only purpose, worshipping Allah. That's why He created us. And that worship includes salah, but that's not the only. The worship means just submitting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And here again, He's reminding, "U'budu rabbakum," worship your Lord who created you and also created people before you so that you can become righteous. Everyone on this earth, from Adam alayhi salam till the end of time, has been created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are all related through Adam alayhi salam, all of us. And we are required to worship Allah, meaning following what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered us to do. And the thing is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it so clear in the Quran what He likes and what He dislikes, and what are the consequences of both. And at the same time, He has mentioned it, and the hadiths tell us He forgives us over and over and over again. So even if we are struggling in following the deen, never give up. Never give up. Because shaitan made a promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I am going to mislead your people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, my people will not follow you. So now you and I have to decide whether we want to be Allah's people or shaitan's people. Tattaqun, taqwa means being righteous. Always fearing, okay, is Allah happy with me or Allah is not happy with me? That's basically what it is. Okay, I wanted to go ahead, but I know we don't have that much time. I'm going to stop here. Just wanted to mention something else in the last few minutes that we have. So very soon, in a few days, I think 3-4 days, Dhul Hijjah is starting, the last month of the Islamic calendar. It's the month of Hajj. Rasulullah, according to Hadith, and then in the Quran also is mentioned, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah are really, really, really important. Rasulullah has said that nothing is more beloved to me than the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. So all the ibadah that we usually do, all the donations, all the good deeds, we need to increase them, especially in the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. It has, and like it is really, and some scholars, they even say that it is even more, you can say there's more reward in it, even more than the last 10 nights of Ramadan. That's also some narrations. So what we need to do once this month begins, we need to increase our dhikr of Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, La ilaha illallah, or extra salahs, the voluntary prayers that we can pray, reading extra Quran, doing more charity than before, being nice to people, like all the good things. We might already be doing those good things, just increasing them, because the ajr is going to be even more than other days. So this is something I just wanted to mention, that this is the month of Ramadan, month of Hajj. It's going to start, I think we are still in Dhul Qada. Today is the 26th or 27th. And so there's still some days. And fasting the day of Arafah is also highly recommended. It's highly recommended. The fasting of the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, that's the day of Arafah. We are encouraged to fast. So whoever can fast, may Allah give us tawfiq that we are able to do that. So inshallah ta'ala, that was something that I wanted to share. If anyone else wants to add anything or any comments, please go ahead. Okay, nothing.
Assalamualaikum. Sorry, just a quick question. What days would we be fasting?
So some people, they fast the first 10 days, but the recommendation is for the fasting the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. That's the day of Arafah.
Do we know when that is going to be? Or?
Yeah, once Dhul Hijjah starts, then you will know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So inshallah, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين. So جزاك الله خيرا everyone.
Jazakallah.
وياكي.